Hey everyone, I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose, and we are actually on day 30. So we are moving right along and really getting into some things. Hopefully, you've been enjoying all of the topics that I've been covering. Today, I'm going to cover purpose defines me, not what you think I am. I talk a lot about identifiers and labels and things of that nature. And the reason why I do that is because most of the time, when someone is asked who they are, they're going to give you one of three or all three of these things. They're going to tell you their name, they're going to tell you their titles or their functions, and they're going to tell you their awareness of themselves, right? So they don't actually tell you who they are. And until you understand who you are as it is defined by your purpose, by the reason why you are put on earth, by the reason you like the things that you like or gravitate to the things that you gravitate to, you're never going to truly answer that question. And when you don't have an answer, others will begin to come up with their own definition and their own label or identifier of you. We define people by who they are in our lives. And so if I had a bad experience with someone and they lied to me, every time I see that person, I'll be like, oh, there's Mark the liar, or there's Andrew the deceiver, right? And when you think about these things, right, you then define people by how they treated you or by how they make you feel, right? I believe Angela Mayo is the one that said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? And again, that statement is true to the fact of identifiers, right? Because if someone shows me that they are trustworthy and loyal, then I'm going to believe that they are trustworthy and loyal. However, if they show me that they're dishonest or they can't be trusted, then that's how I'm going to see them. But again, that's how I label them. That's not truly who they are, because that same disloyal person can be very loyal to someone else, or that same mistrusting person can be trusting to someone else, right? And so I can't really say that I know who they are. I know what they showed me, or I know who they are, who they've been to me, but that's not truly who they are. And so, as a person of purpose, we must take the narrative for ourselves. We must then put out the narrative about who we are, that we want others to identify us by or understand us to be. And so, um, I'm not defined by what you think of me. I may have lied to you. I may have deceived you in some way. I may have been very loyal. I may have been the best friend that you have ever had. I may have been someone that was a confidant to you, right? Um, but that's still not who I am. That's not the totality of who I am. And so we've got to understand that. And when we understand that about ourselves, sometimes we don't even show ourselves who we truly are, because we haven't taken the time to understand who we are. We haven't taken the time to understand what we have to offer and to whom we have to offer it, because not everybody, and you hear me say this all the time, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, whether it's in the dating world, whether it's in the business world, whether it's in the friendship, us building a friendship or some type of platonic relationship. I may not be what you need me to be, or what you want. And so I get that and I understand that, but that does not mean that I'm not that for somebody. That does not mean that somebody will not see the value in what it is that I have to offer. Not that you didn't see the value in it. You may have seen the value, but it's not something you valued. I'm going to let that sit right there, because many people think because someone did not value you as what you had to offer, that they did not see your value. Some people see your value and understand exactly what it is that you have to offer, but that's not something that they need in their lives at that moment. And so they have no value for the thing that makes you valuable. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person or that they're a bad person. It just means that the roads are not connecting. It just means that the paths are not aligned. And when you're okay with that, then you're okay with being who you are and showing up authentic, showing up unapologetically, showing up in your skin and embracing who you are. So here's an exercise for you to do. For the next 3 days, I don't want you, when someone says, "Who are you?" I don't want you to tell them your name. I don't want you to tell them any identifiers as far as functions or titles that you have. So you're not, for example, when someone says, "Who are you?" I'm not going to say, "Well, I am Linda," right? Because that's my name. I'm not going to give them my name. I'm not going to say, "I am Linda. I am a daughter. I am a sister. I am an auntie. I am an entrepreneur. I am a pastor." I'm not going to give them any of those things, right? I'm not going to say, "I am a life coach. I am an author. I am a publisher." None of that. I'm not going to say I'm a podcaster. Go on and on and on. I'm not going to tell them the things that I am aware of about myself. I am loyal. I am honest. I am I'm a free thinker. I'm thought provoking. I'm not going to say any of those things, right? I'm going to define myself in a manner that shows people, without telling them all of that, who I am. And it's difficult. Because like I said, the first thing that we our go-to is our name, our titles or functions, and our awareness of ourselves. But I want you to think over the next 3 days, how can I define myself without going to the topics that we normally go to? Without telling people what I'm aware of myself, which means now I have to sit and really think about who I am, what I have to offer, and how that defines me to the rest of the world, right? And then the next thing that I want you to do is some people aren't self-aware, right? And so even the awareness, because like I said, you're going to say one of the three things. You're going to say your name, you're going to say your functions or your titles, or you're going to say your awareness. Most people don't go to awareness unless they have evolved and understood or been coached into their awareness. They don't talk about their awareness. So you either get the name and the functions, or you get the name or you get the functions, right? And the evolved people will then go into their awareness. Maybe they've coached with Linda and they've done the "Who Am I" exercise, where it's an exercise to awareness. You write "Who am I" on the top of the page, and then you write all of the things that you're aware about yourself. I am honest. I am trustworthy. I'm loyal. I am thought provoking. I'm a free thinker. I am discerning. You start saying those things, but you have to be self-aware. So over the next 3 days, if you're not self-aware, I want you to do the "Who am I" exercise. So you write "Who am I" at the top of the page, and you're not going to write your name or your functions or your titles or anything like that. So you're not going to say, "I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a doctor, a lawyer." You're not going to do that. You're just going to talk about what you know about yourself, what you know about your personality. You are loving, you are kind, you are caring, you are gracious, those things, okay? Because you want to be self-aware. Because when you are self-aware, you're going to start to see a list of attributes about yourself that is going to allow you to start to take away some of the layers of the mystery of what your purpose is and why you're put on earth, right? when I realized that I was an empath, which means that I am empathetic to others' emotions and I can sense other people. When I walk into the room, when I was younger, I would do these things and I would see things, and I didn't know how to explain them. And so I would say, I just don't like this person. And I would attribute what I see about them to them as an individual, and did not recognize that what I was seeing about them was a personality and or a spirit. For those that are spiritual, I was seeing some things about them, and most times it wasn't the best, right? I was seeing them in lights that didn't really make them look good. That's why I said I didn't like that person. I would see, the best way that I could explain it is that their face would contort, and I would see this evilness on them, and that made me not like them because I thought that they were not, and I'm sorry about the background conversation. I would see them and see that they are not a good person, or feel that they weren't a good person because of what I was seeing about them. But then I had to recognize and understand that that was just a portion of them. That wasn't truly who. That might have been in the moment. That might have been in the situation that we were in, and that brought that part out of them, but that did not make them who they were. Okay. And so when you are thinking about purpose, purpose is going to define you. What people think about you is not going to define you. And please, again, do not listen to the background noise, because that's personal information. And so we have got to understand that, we've got to know that, and we've got to recognize that. And we need to understand and recognize that about ourselves in order for us to then be able to deal with other people in that same manner. The best way that I can put it is what the Bible says, and I'm closing with this. The Bible says that we are to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And if I haven't taken the time to know me, if I haven't taken the time to love me, if I haven't taken the time to sit with me and really understand who I am, then I'm not going to take the time to know my neighbor. I'm not going to take the time to sit with my neighbor and really know who they are and love them in the same manner in which I love myself, because I haven't done that for me. Okay. And so understanding that, grabbing that, taking hold of that, possessing that, and then walking it out. So again, for the next 3 days, don't tell people your name. Don't tell people when they say, "Who are you?" Don't tell them your name as a easy, "Oh, well, I'm Linda," whatever that means. Okay. Know who Linda is. And how do you know who Linda is? Stop giving them your titles. Stop giving them your functions, because those are just little pieces of Linda. That's not the totality of Linda. And even if you put all those together, you still don't have the totality of Linda, because you got to be self-aware. You got to understand the other portions, that you're loyal, that you're trusting, that maybe you're a liar. Maybe you're not that honest. Okay. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that will drive you over the next 3 days. I'll be back tomorrow with another tip for your life and to help you walk out in your purpose here on earth. If you need help, though, which we all need a coach. We all need somebody that's going to hold us accountable and push us to be in our evolved greater selves, pushing us to be the best that we can be, pushing us to do the best that we can do. We live in a world that's full of hate, a world that's full of distrust, a world that's always pushing their narrative on us. And isn't it about time that we push our own narrative, that we get into the game and say, "Hey, look, you are not going to tell me who I am. I'm going to tell you, and then you're going to treat me accordingly"? It's about time. So I am Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. Listen, remember this. See the invisible, achieve the impossible, dare to be you, and the world will adjust. I always do this. I'm never ready to end when I say that I'm ready to end, but I'm ready now. We're out.